Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope that I'm making videos that are pretty useful to you about how to kind of be a successful high school student, how to get into the college of your dreams. Today I want to talk about something that is kind of really important to me, which is how to find mentors as a high school student. I think that high school is actually one of the best times in your life to find really high quality mentors who can kind of help you figure out a career, help you get good at that career, help you develop skills, help you eventually make a lot of money down the line, and help you become a mentor for future people in general. And so today I want to talk to you about how you can find those mentors, how they can help you with your career, and what you can do to kind of become a successful high school applicant. So the first thing is teachers can be really great mentors. I know um, this is a little bit obvious, but teachers sometimes can be extremely good mentors if you send them an email, ask them for guidance, ask them for mentorship. If you can join a club where one of your teachers is the head of that club and kind of become friends with them, learn about that club, learn about what they're interested in, ask them if they have any like uh, projects or initiatives that they're working on. So one of my high school teachers was actually working on their economics PhD at one of our local colleges, and so I used to ask him a lot of questions, and he eventually sponsored this economics team at our school, and I tried to get involved with that, and that was kind of something that allowed me to get really interested in economics as a high school student and kind of learn more about CFA and finance and things like that. Um, so teachers can be really great mentors if you kind of get involved in clubs that they're involved in, or if they're working on interesting initiatives or projects, if you stay after class and ask them about it or ask them about guidance, that can be pretty helpful. Second thing is joining clubs or organizations either at your school, or if your school doesn't have as much, then try to figure out ways that you can get involved in organizations in your local community. So I think the best way to do this is kind of to volunteer your time for a mission that's really interesting to you. One of the organizations that I got involved with was this organization called Family Lifeline that connects people with elderly people who are kind of struggling with loneliness or sickness and things like that, and you kind of talk to them either in person or online or on the phone for an hour, a few hours every week. And it helps you kind of develop relationships with people that you wouldn't develop relationships with otherwise. And so you can actually find really great mentors through a community of volunteers because you're all kind of on a common mission. And most of the people who are volunteering were much older than me. And so I could ask them, reach out for help, things like that. If you're kind of interested in entrepreneurship, then, joining a local entrepreneurship organization, like I actually joined an entrepreneurship organization, and every Thursday they have these dinners together. And so I kind of got involved in joining these dinners and explaining what I'm working on, what I'm learning, providing value to that organization, and then learning and kind of learning from people who are much older than me. Eventually, this person who had a PhD in biochemistry told me that they were really interested in what I was working on, gave me their card and their number and their name, and kind of told me that if I have any questions, please feel free to ask them for advice, and that they'd be really excited to mentor me and kind of teach me the ropes about what they learned about entrepreneurship. So joining local clubs and organizations, looking in your library, seeing if there's opportunities, trying to join a group of people who are a little bit older than you, a little bit more experienced than you, and try to offer as much value as you can about the things you're working on, the things you're learning from, things like that, that can be really helpful. Okay. Third thing is trying to attend career fairs or networking events. So in my high school, we actually had a yearly career fair where people would come to our high school and kind of offer internships over the summer, networking events. And all those people who are coming to our career fair were either looking for people who are interns, either paid or volunteers, and looking to give high school students some skills in exchange for working on really valuable work. And so I got involved in this patient advocacy organization that was trying to lobby in Congress for some patient healthcare rights for a specific marginalized population. And I actually did an internship with them where I worked for free and kind of developed and collected a lot of data. And that really helped me understand healthcare advocacy and politics and things that I was actually interested in. And that was a really great opportunity for me to seek out potential mentors. And so if you can find career fairs or networking events where you can go, dress up really well, try to be outgoing, talk as much as possible, meet people who are a little bit older than you, who have experience, who are looking for students, print out like 30 copies of your resume, hand them out, give, your name drop yourself as much as possible, send an email afterwards to the person who was at the career fair and tell them that you're really thankful for their time. Just try to create your serendipity by going to these events and meeting people that can help you find potential mentors. Okay. I think a very underrated thing that people don't do is using social media. So LinkedIn is actually a great place where you can kind of find mentors. And one way that I think people do this is that they try to reach out to people for questions like when they need to get the answer. So like I know one of my friends who was pre-law in college and wanted to go to law school, and actually instead of what most law school applicants do, which is reach out to a lawyer or something right at the time that they needed it, right before the application, and ask for like advice on their application or shadowing or things like that. He actually reached out and told them that he's interested in pre-law right when he started college. Texted like 10, 20 people on LinkedIn and told them about himself and told them that he was really interested in what they do, and that if in the future they ever have like any any opportunities where they'd like some help with any of the projects that they're working on, that they could reach out to him and he'd be really excited to help. And so he kind of established very early on that he was willing to provide value as a mentee, and that he was looking for somebody who can mentor him through the pre-law and law school application process. And that was something that in every year he was texting like 10 or 15 people on LinkedIn. Eventually he found a lot of mentors who kind of helped him through the law school application, and he got into a really good law school. And so that was kind of a way that I thought was really smart about using social media to kind of connect with people and find mentors. Another way you can do this is if you have Facebook, post in like your local community Facebook group and say that, these are some things that I'm really interested in. I want to be, I don't know, a real estate agent, or I want to be a graphic designer. I want to be a doctor, things like that. And ask that, are there any doctors in the community that I could shadow? Are there any graphic designer people that I could kind of learn from? And communities on Facebook are so helpful, on Reddit are so helpful, but Facebook especially, because you can kind of geographically pin a location and figure out what is the Facebook community for that location, and find people who are sort of ahead of you in your career and ask them questions and shadow them and learn from them, see a day in their life, things like that. So social media is really good. Kind of off that, I'd just like to add one more thing, which is cold email. And so if social media, I think, is really nice because you can kind of reach out to a group of 1,000 people in your community who all chose to be in that Facebook group, who are all interested in helping each other out, and you can kind of post a very friendly, nice, warm message. Yeah, as I was saying, cold emailing is a really powerful way to kind of reach out to people and find mentors. And if you want to do research at a university, you can find the emails of professors and labs and ask them if they're looking for high school interns. If you're interested in working for a company, you can kind of find whoever the organization leader is for internships. You can email them and ask them if they're looking for high school interns, things like that. But that's really helpful. Okay, the next thing is seeking out alumni. So alumni of your high school, or people who are a couple of years older who have just graduated, they can give you some really good mentorship. And a lot of times high schools have alumni networks where you can just post in the Facebook community of your alumni network and ask them for advice or questions, or if they're willing to mentor somebody, and that can be pretty helpful as well. Okay, I think I've told this story in another video as well, but my brother actually asked for an internship from one of our neighbors who was working on a startup. And he's like 50, but he's really interested in helping people out and like teaching skills. And so my brother actually asked for summer internship and kind of helped build a important project for that neighbor in terms of like building a chat robot that boosted sales for their website by like 10%, and it did a great job of kind of doing the job. And so my brother learned a lot of computer science skills by just asking our family friend down the street a for an internship. And that kind of developed into a mentorship bond where he calls us over for dinner and kind of helps my brother figure out what he's interested in and what sorts of projects are available in the computer science startup world and things like that. So that's a good way to find a mentor. Okay, participating in internships and shadowing at jobs are just great opportunities to find mentors. If you can email them and thank them for their time after you're done and just tell them how much you appreciated it, that can be a start to a great mentorship relationship. That's always a good idea. Attending conferences and workshops. So if there's like a local meetup, or if there's a local workshop, if there's a local conference going on, then go out, seek out resources. Science fairs are pretty good ways that you can find people. But any place where there's a lot of professionals who are meeting each other and talking about things, you can go and just dress up and tell them that, ask questions, figure things out. Eventually somebody's going to be interested in why you're there and what you're doing there, and that can be a great opportunity to find mentorship. Okay, the last one is, there's a lot of established mentorship programs. So if you can find an established mentorship program in your local community that, matches you with people who are in your desired field, or a little bit ahead of you, that can be a really great opportunity to find guidance and support and kind of figure out what is the best opportunity for you. And if you sometimes you have to pay for some mentorship, sometimes it's completely free, but those are always really good opportunities to kind of figure out what you want to do in your future, how you can get to the best future possible, how you can build your career, all sorts of things like that. So those are kind of my tips on how to find mentors as a high school student. If this was helpful, let me know. Feel free to leave any questions down in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.